Hello and welcome to Delve. I'm Callum. Each week we'll go on a deep dive into a matter on the minds of young people today. From Brexit to climate change, from housing to the scarcity of jobs. This week we'll investigate the impact Brexit has had on the housing market. We'll ask why so many young people are forced to rent, the impact it has on them, and what we can do to help. Brexit. Once described as the easiest trade deal in history, now, 3 years later, the first stage will finally come to an end. It's been a tumultuous time for the housing market, with people reluctant to buy or sell.
The market in the last 3 years has been slow. People have lost confidence really and are just nervous about what's going to happen. Brexit and confidence. I think people are just sort of lacking in any form of confidence as to what's going to happen in the market.
It's been a tough time for all of us estate agents and certainly the property market. I think just any uncertainty, kind of whatever it is in the news really makes a massive difference. So it's particularly something as big as Brexit, which has affected all of our lives and been a shock to most people. So fewer people putting their houses on the market. But then unfortunately the people that are putting or have been putting their houses on the market have not been able to sell at the prices they were wanting to sell at because of Brexit, because obviously with no buyers there, they either have to reduce them down to a rate that people just go, right, it's great value, I'll buy it regardless of what's happening in the media. So if they want to sell, they've had to be a bit more flexible on the price. So it's affected everyone, buyers and sellers alike.
Anne-Marie says that because of the Brexit uncertainty, her house was on the market for over a year without an offer. She says her family has had to put plans on hold of moving into a bigger home.
We had about 20 viewings. People were quite keen to start off with, but then coming up with silly reasons why they weren't interested. When we were looking at other sales boards that were up in the area, nothing seemed to shift. I mean, psychologically you're ready to move, and you know every house you go and have a look at, you think, yes, could it be this one? But obviously we weren't prepared to put an offer in anywhere until we had an offer secured on ours, and in the end, it was demoralising.
Outside of Brexit, young people struggled to get on the housing ladder. With house prices continuing to rise faster than wages and the scrapping of the Help to Buy ISA, many young people wonder if they'll even get onto the housing ladder at all. Georgie is 21 and recently moved into her first flat rental with her boyfriend.
It's not very difficult finding a place. There are plenty of places around. They just weren't very affordable. And there's so many checks to go through before you're allowed to rent a place. I think that was the hardest part. And I don't see us ever being able to save up a deposit to have our own place unless things change. I just don't see that being very realistic.
It is difficult. It is difficult for youngsters. I think parents are having to help out nowadays with flat purchases in the way 15, 20 years ago they would help out with their purchase of a car. It seems to be the next thing now.
I feel really sorry for young people. My kids are probably similar age to you, and my daughter's 18, so maybe a little bit younger, but it kind of fills me with dread really how they're ever going to get on the housing market without help from us, their parents, which we're all none of us can always help them out with the mortgages we've all got. So it is a big worry. I think for young people it's I don't know what the answer is. Certainly more affordable housing.
What's the biggest challenge facing young people who are trying to get on the housing ladder?
Yeah, I think affordability first of all, and the house prices being so high, and getting a mortgage. It's really hard to get a mortgage these days. And then of course the house prices are so high, so even if they can get a decent deposit together, can they get the big enough mortgage to be able to buy those homes? So it's a double whammy for them.
Today, record numbers of young adults are still living home with their parents. Young adults today are around half as likely to own a home as people born 20 years ago, according to a local government association, leaving us to ask if this is the first generation who will rent through to retirement.